No other company does weaponize nostalgia quite like Nintendo. It's pretty much the entire business strategy. Now I'm kinda pissed off, because you don't get to own physical games anymore, and now you don't even own the hardware itself. Hit the like button. Let's get to 80,000 subs. I know we can do it now. You know, there's a funny Fight Club quote. I think it goes something like, the things you own end up owning you, circa 1999, Tyler Durden. Nintendo is like, you can't sue us, give us money. Oh yes, do something about it. And the public is like, oh really, are you challenging us? Because Nintendo, folks, with the Switch 2 is hell-bent on universally considering themselves the least consumer-friendly gaming company ever. And yes, that includes Microsoft, who's laying off thousands of people a day. Good old Nintendo faces legal action over ability to brick Switch 2s whenever they want. This is from Dexerto, Brazil's consumer watchdog, is challenging Nintendo's ULA terms that allow the company to ban consoles from online services in a June 25 press release. Procon SP, the São Paulo, Brazil branch of Brazil's Consumer Protection Defense Program, requested changes to Nintendo's end-user license agreement, calling certain clauses abusive under Brazilian law. See, I knew the Brazilians were pretty badass, but now we know for sure the main concern is Nintendo's ability to permanently restrict access to services like eShop and online play. If they believe someone has violated its terms, including unauthorized accessories or pirated software. Nintendo's end-user license agreement states, you acknowledge that if you fail to comply with foregoing restrictions, Nintendo may render the console or the software permanently unusable in whole or in part. I'm doing it in that voice, by the way, because I can just picture some fella in Nintendo crying his heart out that gamers can actually do whatever the they want with their own product. Any affected consoles receive the 21244508 error code and lose total access to online. The console still works offline but has already resulted in fans unknowingly buying affected second-hand consoles. If you brick something I paid $500 on, we are going to have a massive problem. I mean, what are you I just want to reiterate how insane this whole thing is. You can buy something and then have it rendered completely useless because the manufacturer doesn't like how you used it. This should be on the front page of almost every news outlet, especially the technology sector. But it does sound like Brazil is standing up for gamers' rights. Maybe they'll put Nintendo in some kind of Brazilian jiu-jitsu move and choke them out. Just so you understand, in Brazil, the minimum wage is 1,400 BRL, which is roughly about $260 US, and the Switch 2 costs 4,800 BRL. So imagine paying 4 times your wage only to have it bricked. Nintendo should be sued out of the ask for this. Now that the Brazilians have put them in a 4-leg lock, it's time for the European Commission to also follow suit and take a closer look at that Nintendo end-user license agreement, because it feels 110% illegal, and it looks like the rest of the world might be waking up to this fact. I can't believe I need to say this, but I'll make this as clear as I possibly can. Once you've bought a Switch 2, it's not Nintendo's console anymore, it's yours. If Kim Kardashian wants to take that Nintendo Switch and stick it up her wazoo, she can. And I'm pretty sure literally every other console can fit inside that massive hole anyway. Every time Nintendo does this, it should be legally recognized as vandalism. Because as far as the law is concerned, emulation is not illegal. And if it's done for your own purposes and you aren't connecting to Nintendo services whatsoever, why the should they care? Modding a console isn't some heinous crime. It's not like you're sawing off a shotgun so you can get better bullet spread so you can conceal it easier. You know what actually drives me nuts about the Switch 2? Imagine having no media apps work at launch. No YouTube, no Hulu, no Twitch, no OLED, fake HDR, which we could all sue them for, by the way, because that was false advertising. No real improvement to battery, cheap D-pad, $80 to $90 of worse looking games running on outdated specs. Even the fucking packaging scheme was absolutely lazy. A single thin piece of cardboard between the outside and upward facing screen which can easily get poked. That seemed like a very easy way to ensure a lot of people who open their boxes to shattered screens. Another one of their lies is when they claim that we fix stick drift by redesigning everything from the ground up. But the reality is just straight up the same old nonsense, straight up just another false advertising gimmick. When are the people gonna finally stop giving them the benefit of the doubt? With all the money Nintendo made from the Switch 1 sales, you would think that they would improve these very simple things. They have a very closed off and a very restrictive ecosystem where you have to pay for online play and features, not to mention you're beholden to one of the most anti-consumer and greedy companies in the business. They only have one ace in the hole, and that's their first party catalog that transcends generations. And as long as they target the morons with that, they can practically get away with anything. Well, they have been. Realistically, Nintendo is never going to lose money because there's too many people who would defend these actions. The Nintendo drones will say, oh my god, it's Trump's tariffs, instead of just looking right in front of them and seeing the very obvious greed. These same morons will be like, Nintendo should have the right to take away what I paid for, And the actual regulators, the government regulators, are like, well, no, actually they don't. What's funny is if you look at something like the Steam Deck, that has OLED and emulation is ridiculously easy on that. Sure, these other handhelds might be more expensive, but they are much more powerful and flexible. You can literally run anything on them. You can emulate, you can pirate, you can stream, you can use it for productivity, basically anything you want. Oh, and I almost forgot, I can't believe more isn't being made out of them, Nintendo selling game cartridges without the actual game on them. What the f? How is that even a thing? I mean, I remember when Xbox was crucified for their DRM nonsense with the Xbox One, to the point where they never really recovered from it, and they are still laying off people left and right every quarter. But now we have Nintendo doing the same shit, probably worse, and people are like, meh, who cares, it's fine. The hypocrisy and the double standards go crazy, but not according to Brazil and not according to the real gamers. And on that bombshell, I can never support Nintendo after what they did to Power World and the emulation community. They deserve to get sued up the arse. I want to know what all of you think in the comments. Manix out.